Good morning, students. Welcome back. Today we are going to see how to control fire. Before we could start about that one, I had given you an activity to be done. I hope you all have completed that particular activity, that is of your textbook, page number 67, activity number 6.4. This was an activity which was given for you to perform. You have to take 2 paper cups. So now the paper cup, what happens to the paper cup? Empty paper cup. What happens to the empty paper cup here? The moment when we are bringing an empty paper cup near the candle, burning candle, it soon after 2 or 3 seconds it will start catch, it will become black, and it start catch fire. Then the second paper cup, what happens to it with water? This paper cup will not catch fire, and if we touch the water even will start becoming hot, and even it can, if we are continuing it to heat, even we can able to boil the water in this paper cup. So what do you think about the explanation for this phenomenon? What do we observe here? Here what we are observing it, as we have studied in class 7 about the conduction, convection and radiation, about heat transfer. Here the second step is going to take place, that is about the conduction. So the heat supplied to the paper cup is getting transferred to the water by conduction. In the first paper cup, as there was no material present here, so the paper cup has started burning it. But here in the second paper cup, we are having the water present in it. So the whatever heat the candle is supplying it to this paper cup is transferring that particular heat to the water through the conduction. And so the presence of water is not igniting the temperature of the paper cup, is not reaching it. But in the first case, as there was no water, so within a second the paper cup has come to its ignition temperature. Ignition temperature, it is nothing but the minimum temperature at which a combustible substance can start to burning. We call it as ignition temperature. So in the first paper cup there was no water, so it has started burning. But in the second case, as water is present, that water is not allowing it to come to that minimum temperature wherein the that paper cup with water can start burning it. So from this experiment we have concluded that substance which is having low ignition temperature can catch fire easily. Means the one which is this ignition, by putting water, what we have done, the ignition temperature of the paper cup we have increased, and it is not attaining to its ignition temperature, so it is not getting burned. But in the first case where there was no water, it has reached to its ignition temperature and it has started boiling. So now we will be having a substance which will be having a very low ignition temperature. We call it as inflammable substance. Like you have studied in metals and non-metals about the sodium and potassium. Sodium and potassium, even if you take out a sodium in a room temperature, it catches fire. So for that reason, there we have seen that sodium is always kept in kerosene. Means the moment it comes in contact with the atmosphere or oxygen, it catches fire. So these are highly inflammable substance. Sodium, potassium are highly inflammable substance, means their ignition temperature is very low. Like we are talking about, petrol is there, alcohol is there, LPG is there. These all substances are having low ignition temperature. There can be a value based question for you, like the vehicles which are like two-wheelers are there, they are not supposed to be kept in the hot summer, in hot sun during the summer days. Why? Because as in this bikes we will be having a petrol, and if you are keeping it continuously in the hot sun, because the temperature in the summer goes above 45 degrees Celsius, 44 degrees Celsius, as petrol is an inflammable substance, it can catch fire. Because of it, it is always told that we have to keep these vehicles in a shade. Clear? This is all about the inflammable substance. Now we are seeing about how to control the fire. So now whenever, like, if we see that there is a fire, we will be having a fire extinguishers will be coming. What this fire extinguisher person will be doing is, they will be fire brigade, they will be arriving it, they will be having a big pipes will be there, they will be having a water hose, and they will be putting the water over that particular area with a high pressure. By applying this, what they will be doing it, they will be trying to cut off the supply of air, as this is one of the condition necessary for burning. We have seen a triangle. In the triangle, we were having fuel, supply, and a combustible substance was necessary for to get a fire. So now out of these three, if you are cutting any one or two, the fire is going to get extinguished. So the fire brigade person, what they will be doing it, they also will be cutting the supply of air, and they will be lower by, as they are putting water, they will be lowering down the temperature of the fuel, so their ignition temperature will not be there, and in such a way they will be extinguishing the fire. So now the fire can be controlled by removing one or more of these conditions. So a fire extinguisher cut off the supply of oxygen, or brings down the temperature of the fuel, or both can be controlled by the fire. So how a fire extinguisher can be, there are two methods for controlling fire. One is by using water. Water we can commonly use for fire extinguishing. It can be used only when there is a fuel like wood, paper, etc. are on fire. Then only we can use water as a common extinguisher. Otherwise, water cannot be used for electrical equipments and for oil, petrol. Why? Because for electrical equipments, you have studied in your lower classes that water is a good conductor of electricity. Now, the fire is caused because of electric current or electrical equipments, and you are pouring water. What will happen? The person who is pouring water can get shock, and it will be harmful for him to who is trying to put off this fire. So for that reason, we can't use water for a fire which is caused because of electrical equipments. In that case, it is best way to use a fire extinguisher, because fire extinguisher will be having a carbon dioxide in it, and in this carbon dioxide, like what they will be doing is, this carbon dioxide will be heavier than air, and it will be covering the fire, and it will be cut offing the supply of oxygen. So how a fire extinguisher will be working is, in a fire extinguisher we will be having, wherever we will be having a fire caused due to electrical appliances, it is because of oil, it is because of petrol. In that case, we have to use fire extinguisher. When we are coming back to, we can't use water for putting off the oil and petrol fires. Why? Because water, this oil is lighter than water, they will be floating it on water, and even the same way petrol is also lighter than water, so it is having less density than water, so it will be floating it up. And if you are pouring water also, this fire which has caused be due to this one, if you are pouring water also, it is going to come up only, we are unable to cut off it. So for that reason, for electrical equipments, for oil and petrol, we are unable to use water as a extinguisher. Here the best method is, we have to use carbon dioxide, because this carbon dioxide is lighter than air, so it will be formed, it is heavier than air. So heavier than air, it will be covering the fire like a blanket, which, since the contact between the fuel and oxygen will get cut off, the fire is controlled. Advantage of CO2 is that most of the cases it does not harm the electrical appliances also. Means if we are putting fire extinguisher, our electrical appliances also not going to get any harm. So how actually this fire extinguisher will be working it? What is there in this one? So in this fire extinguisher will be stored carbon dioxide will be present in this fire extinguisher. It will be stored at a high pressure as a liquid in the cylinder. Means carbon dioxide will be stored at high pressure in a liquid, as a liquid in the cylinder. Now when we will be releasing this from the cylinder, this CO2 will be expanding enormously in the volume and cool downs. So it not only forms a blanket around the fire, it also brings down the temperature of the fuel. As it is cooling down, it will be cutting off the air also, as well as it will be bringing down the temperature of the fuel. So it is becoming, the ignition temperature is going to become high, and the fuel is not going to catch continue the fire. It also brings down the temperature of the fuel. So that is why fire extinguisher is a very excellent way of using for fire extinguishing carbon dioxide. Another way of carbon dioxide to release, it will be in the form of dry powder of chemicals like sodium bicarbonate, that is baking soda, or potassium bicarbonate we can use, and this also going to release give of carbon dioxide for us, where we can able to use it as a fire extinguisher. So this is all about how when the fire is there, fire is caused, how we can able to control it. Either there are two methods, that is by using water and by using carbon dioxide we can able to control the fire. We are controlling fire is only we will be either cutting off the supply of oxygen, or we will be bringing down the temperature down of that combustible substance. Two things we can able to do. If we are bringing on doing cutting off one of the thing also, like we are having fuel, air and heat, either this of this, if we are cutting one also, this fire is going to get cut off, it is going to get extinguished. So this is all about how to control fire. Then we are coming to, there are three different types of combustion for us. One is rapid combustion, second is spontaneous combustion, and third is explosion. So now, burning of a matchstick or a gas lighter near a gas stove in the kitchen knob, everyone has observed. Means if you want to burn a candle, if you want to on the gas, at the time we will bringing a matchstick near to it, and it will be within a second it will be catching the fire to the gas. So a gas will be burning with rapidly and producing heat and light. Such a combustion we call it as a rapid combustion. A combustion in which the substance burns rapidly and it will be producing the heat and light with the help of external heat. External heat means we are giving the gas cylinder, the moment you open the knob also, the gas is not going to catch fire. You have to give it by either by using a lighter or by using a matchstick. You have to give external heat, and then till your gas is on, it will be rapidly burning it. So this we call it as a rapid combustion. Then we are having, second is about the spontaneous combustion. Spontaneous combustion, in spontaneous combustion we will be having is a combustion in which a substance burns spontaneously and produce heat, light without the help of external heat. Here we are not going to give any external heat, like we have seen about the sodium and phosphorus. Sodium without giving any heat, the moment it comes in contact with the oxygen, it will be started going to burn. So here the material suddenly will be burst into flames without the application of any apparent cause. Such we call it as a spontaneous combustion. In spontaneous combustion of coal dust like when we will coming to coal mines, we will be having a coal dust as a result of many disastrous fire in coal mines. Spontaneous spontaneous fire is like a forest fire. Forest fire, there no one has been given any external fire for it, but due to the rubbing heat and the branches of trees are getting rubbed each other, and continuously they will spontaneously they will be started burning it. Sometimes it is due to the heat of the sun, light strikes. However, most forest fires are due to the carelessness of human being. It is an important to remember that whenever we go for campfire, must completely extinguish before leaving the forest after a picnic or a visit. Means even if we went to in a forest for a campfire, and if we have not extinguished the fire, that small fire, with the help of air it will go, and it can go for a spontaneous combustion. Example, phosphorus will be burning spontaneously even at room temperature for us. Then the third one is about the explosion. Explosion is a combustion in which substance burns suddenly and produce heat, light and sound with the help of the heat or pressure. Like you are having, the best example is about your crackers. During Diwali, we will be using the crackers. These crackers will be burning when you are supplying certain additional heat. You will be getting heat, light as well as sound, even by applying some pressure or by applying heat. Like you see, know about the chutputti. What you will be doing it, just you will be applying a pressure over it, and this will be going for an explosion. So this is all about the three types of combustion: rapid, spontaneous and explosion. So this is how a rapid combustion, a burner of a LPG gas; a spontaneous combustion, suddenly a material is catching fire; explosion, you can see about the fire crackers. So this is the first part of your lesson about the combustion is completed. In the next class we are going to start with the second part of your lesson, that is flame, because your lesson name is combustion and flame. So combustion first part of your lesson we have completed. In the next class we are going to study about the flame. Hope you all are understanding the lesson. Stay home, stay safe. Thank you.